We all know I have a fascination for people's mistakes ending in disaster, especially when that person is a callous, cold-hearted individual who was told his ideas were bad from the beginning, and yet he went along and did them anyway. Somebody who will stop at nothing to save some money, even if it puts hundreds of lives in danger. Today, we'll take a look at the worst building collapse in South Korean history, and a story that had me shaking my head. Let's take a look at what happened to the Sampoong department store. Construction on the department store began in 1987, when the economic state of Seoul was on a rise. At the time, there was a ban on construction contractors signing on to projects in Seoul, so they had to use their own local companies to get the jobs done, companies that worked quickly and efficiently. Originally, the location was to be used for a 4-story apartment building. Blueprints were drawn up by the Woosung Construction Company, and everything looked in order to make a safe project happen. However, one man, a Mr. Lee Jung, who was future chairman of the Sampoong Construction Division, took one look at the plans and said, "Nah, it's going to be a department store, and I'm going to tell you how to make it." The department store was built for luxury, for those who wanted to dine expensive and shop classy. It took 2 years to be built over a landfill, a symbol of moving forward, moving up in the world, and a good way to make money fast. But the original plans weren't meant for a department store, so changes had to be made, whether they made sense or not. The building took 2 years to make, and along the way, Mr. Lee kept making more changes in order to maximize retail space and save time. Changes like spreading out the support columns more, using a flat slab construction method that didn't require a steel crossbeam skeleton to support the building. Putting 3 15-ton air conditioners up on the roof just to add more nonsensical weight to the already unstable support columns. Sound like a bad idea yet? How about we put 8 restaurants up on the 5th floor originally intended for a skating rink, and we heat the floor of that restaurant floor in order to add more stress. The second construction company told him no, they certainly weren't going to do that, and the building couldn't handle all that he was putting up on the 5th floor. So Lee fired them and hired another construction company to do what he told them. The construction ended in 1989, and it wouldn't last 5 years. 2 years prior to the disaster, the air conditioning units up on the roof were moved from one side to the other, but they weren't moved using a safe crane method. Instead, they were put on rollies and dragged across the roof, causing visible cracks to form along the concrete. The most damage was taken on a column titled 5E, where visible cracks were seen around it in the floor below. By April 1995, the cracks were starting to become a bit of an inconvenience when they started appearing in the 5th floor ceiling. Lee's response to this was just to move the retail stores down to basement 1, out of sight, out of mind style. By June 29th, the problem became less ignorable, as cracks began to form all along the 5th floor. Management decided that they would just shut down parts of the 5th floor. Still not a solution, but okay. Our friend Mr. Lee was asked if an evacuation was a necessary thing to do, and he stated no. There was an unusually large amount of customers in the building that day, and he wouldn't lose money over something as trivial as a building collapse. 5 hours before the disaster, large cracks could be heard coming from the 5th floor, and the sound of vibration that was ruining customers' days. Vibration was coming from the AC units up on the roof, the very ones that were now vibrating 10-centimeter cracks into the support columns of floor 5. Customer complaints caused management to turn off the AC units, but the damage had already been done. Mr. Lee and a few executives and managers had a meeting and decided they should leave the building, but not call for an evacuation. Mr. Lee didn't even tell his daughter-in-law, who was working in the department store that day. Temperatures rose with the AC units turned off, and by 5 p.m., the 5th floor ceiling had seen better days, sinking down enough to close off the whole 5th floor. That ought to do it. By 5:52 p.m., the cracks became so threatening and loud that employees took it upon themselves to call an evacuation. Unfortunately, it was little too late, and the AC units fell through the roof and started a chain reaction collapse that lasted less than 20 seconds. People trapped inside who weren't crushed by debris were then trapped under the rubble. Rescue teams arrived within minutes, but after a day, the mayor wondered if this was too dangerous of a task and wanted to call it off. Little to say, the people of Seoul weren't too happy about that and began rioting in the streets, protesting, until the search was back on. Hundreds of people who had been in the store were still missing, and they were now starting to be pulled from the rubble. Several people who had been trapped in the basement were there for days. 18-year-old Woo Ji-won was found 12 days after the collapse in a space barely bigger than her body. She survived off of rainwater. 19-year-old Park Seung-hoon was also pulled from the rubble after 17 days. Miraculously, she only had a few scratches on her. In the end, the disaster ended the lives of 502 people and injured 937 more. Lee Jung was arrested, along with a bunch of other management and executives who made this a reality. During his interrogation, he stated that his main concern was not only that the store had harmed customers, but had damaged his company financially. What a guy. Other absolute legends who went to jail for taking bribes from Lee include city official Lee Chung-hoo and Hwang Choi-min, the former chief of the area. Lee was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for criminal negligence and died shortly after his release in 2003. The people of Seoul demanded that a memorial be erected in the wake of the disaster, but the government decided to build it elsewhere and instead put an apartment complex where the store used to be. Just one of the many examples of money and greed over safety. If you want to see some interviews from the two girls who were trapped in the basement, as well as some tasty animations about the collapse, I put a link in the description to the show Seconds from Disaster that explains it pretty thoroughly. These building disasters are interesting to me, and I'll be looking at more in the future. Till then, thanks for Oh, hang on. Stay right there, I got something to show you. So, some of you have been asking if YouTube ever ended up sending me my silver play button, and I'm happy to announce Danny Frank? Have you seen my play button? Oh, okay. So, I see you got it there. It's cool, right? We got that because 100,000 people cared enough about what I have to say to subscribe to my channel. Isn't that cool? You wanna help me put it up on the wall? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, you think this is your channel. You think that's yours? Give me just a second. Now you listen here, tiny man. I know you're adorable. I know that when you're not on that desk, I've got people asking me, where are you? Where's Tiny Frank? When's he coming back? I know some people out there think that this is your channel and not mine. But a lot of people had to help me get this award. And I'll be damned if you're going to take it away from me. So you can either get up on that desk and share the award with me, or you're sleeping under the bed. Some of you might know, if you watch my community tab, that YouTube's been giving me some trouble getting this award. I reached 100,000 subscribers about 9 months ago, and at the time, YouTube claimed my channel wasn't original enough to receive the award. Now, some people might think I'm complaining, I'm whining about a piece of metal on my wall. My concern with that was that if YouTube thinks your channel's unoriginal, they could shut you down for being an unoriginal channel. Luckily, that didn't happen. In fact, I got verified recently, and I think that might have been the only reason that they reconsidered their mistake. YouTube's a big company. I don't expect them to care about me. I don't expect them to care about any other small creators. We don't make them a lot of money as far as some of the bigger creators go, so I'm a nobody to them. I don't care. my feelings aren't hurt by Google not liking me that much. But I don't, because of that, I'm not thanking them for this award. I'm thanking you guys for this award because it means a lot to me that so many people out there watch this channel and look forward to it every week and want to come back for more. I want to bring you guys so much more content, and it's on the way. I can't wait to grow bigger and meet more of you. So thank you for that. I also want to thank real quick 2 specific horror content creators who helped me along the way, who defended me, who supported me, who did everything they could to get YouTube's attention with this problem. And while none of it really worked, I appreciate their help. CZ's World, who put out a tweet that a lot of you retweeted, trying to get YouTube's attention, and Don't Turn Around, who came up with every solution he possibly could for me to get through to them. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody in the horror community on YouTube who supports the little guy. And don't. I appreciate all of you. So thank you for being here. Follow my social medias, everything I say at the end of the video, but more sincerely, be well, everybody. I'll see you next time.